The prosecution is expected to rest today in the American sniper murder trial. Eddie Ray Ralph accused of killing Chris Kyle and his friend at a shooting range back in 2013. And yesterday, the jurors watched a videotaped confession from Ralph. On the tape, he admits to the two murders and he apologizes. And then he goes off on some rambling tangents on the tape. At one point, the officer who's interrogating him, and it goes on for about an hour, says, quote, "You know what you did today is wrong, right?" Ralph responds, "Yes, sir." But then adds, "Would it have been all right if I had stayed?" Meaning, had he not left the scene? Joining me, criminal defense attorneys Brian Silber and Amanda Mnookin. Good to have you both here. You know, when you look at those words, Amanda, let me start with you. They seem very damning because it's obvious that he knew what he was doing and that he knew that it was wrong.
Yes, well, at least he knew what he was doing at the time of the interrogation. That doesn't mean he knew what he was doing at the time of the crime. And I think that's where the confusion is. The question is whether he knew what he was doing was wrong when he shot these victims and whether or not he had the impulse to resist the crime.
All right, let's take a look at another quote from his interrogation with the officer. He said, "I was going to be the next one getting my head shot off. If I didn't take out his soul, he was going to take my soul next. I'm just tired of playing chess with my life," he says. Brian, what do you make of it?
You know, if I was the prosecutor trying this case, I'd have concerns because a statement like that shows that this guy had an insanity issue potentially at the time he committed the crime. And our other guess is 100% correct. You know, in law as in life, timing is everything. And just because a guy who maybe has a schizophrenic problem or a mental health issue was lucid many hours later, it doesn't mean at the time of the crime he was lucid, and that is the ultimate question. Yeah. And by the way, that's the issue with schizophrenia. People go in and out of lucidity knowing one moment what's going on and not knowing a moment later. And that's going to be the problem in this case.
Yeah, but you know, afterwards, he went to a Taco Bell afterwards. He stole the truck. He drove away. He went to his sister's house. He talked to her about, you know, his feelings about what he had done and what had happened. I mean, all of that, I think, makes it pretty tough, Amanda, does it not, to say that he didn't know what he was doing or that he was insane at the time that it happened? I mean, obviously, he's a person who has deep problems. I mean, it's clear from what he's saying and from what his act, but the insanity defense might be hard.
Actually, I don't think so. I think if there is an insanity defense, this is the case. Look at the 911 call from the sister. I mean, the sister is saying that the brother is babbling, that he is or is not on drugs. She can't tell the difference, but there is something wrong. If you look at the statement, "I had to take a soul to save my soul," what does that say? That's not a person that's lucid. Yeah. That's not someone
I gotta say,
that
respectfully, I disagree with
reality.
that.
Quickly, Brian. One last
I was going to say, you know, this is not a textbook case. You have a guy who shortly after the homicide basically admitting that he knew what he did was wrong. Right. That is not good. That's very bad, and that's going to be very challenging for the defense.
All right, we got to leave it there.
But the point is, this is not a clean case for the prosecution either.
Amanda and Brian, thank you very much. Everybody's watching this case very closely. We'll see what the jury thinks. That's what it's going to come down to. Thanks very much.